y'all doing tonight?
Hey.
Everybody have a good day?
Yeah.
I'm comedian Vern Baker, right here from the great Magic City of Florence, South Carolina. To start off with, I'm from the great city of Florence, South Carolina, and I do comedy from this perspective of a fat person, a fat disabled person. I got a little disability that I've learned if I laugh too hard, or if I get excited, I'll pass out and hit the floor. So because of that, and I don't want nobody to hurt themselves tonight, the show gonna be funny, but not too funny. Because if I hit this floor, I don't know how many of y'all it'll take to get me up tonight. You might have to call out the Florence Fire Department. Like I was saying, I do comedy from the perspective of a fat dude. I've been fat most of my life, all of my life, but for 10 seconds when I was born prematurely. Other than that, I just grew up. I realized in 3rd grade that I was fat. What happened was, typically down south, you go as a class, they weigh you, they give you a hearing test, an eye test, and stuff like that. Well, 3rd grade, I went down to get the weight done, and I weighed in as a heavyweight contender. In the 3rd grade, I could have fought Mike Tyson. Now, with that being said, I just learned to live and enjoy life as a fat person. One of the main things that got me in trouble in school was like the desk. The desk was my nemesis. So at the beginning of every school year, I get to class early. I get to school early and get into class, and I know the teacher desk is a big desk, and I want to go get the teacher desk. So I look around the room and I find the next biggest desk. And I get it and I set my stuff up and I get ready. Class will start, we'll say the pledge and stuff. Oh, I said, this is going to be a good year. I got me a big comfortable desk. A couple minutes into the lesson, the door opened, a wheelchair rolled in, and the teacher tell me, Mr. Baker, you got to get out of that desk. So I squeezed into a little desk, doing the best that I could do. But halfway through the school year, my parents would start getting calls. Mr. Baker, I'm calling because Mr. Baker seems to be falling asleep in class. We need to work on that. He's not paying attention. Well, what I would tell my parents is, I'm not falling asleep in class. The desk is tight, cutting off my circulation, and I'm passing out. Well, I learned the maneuver still going like that, and I became an adult. Well, one thing I did was, how many of y'all remember going and getting your first car? Everybody wanted something nice and sporty, right? So I went out, we looked at cars. Back then, Chevy Blazer was the thing. I wanted me a Chevy Blazer bad, both. We looked at Chevy Blazers, Nissan Sentras, all the cheap stuff. I tried those on because fat people try on cars. We don't really look at performance or anything. We don't worry about gas mileage. So I tried those on and they didn't fit. I ended up with a basic white Chevy Impala. The most uncool car out. When I would come to school, pull up in the parking lot, teachers would teach at their best. The custodian would get up and clean. The principal would look busy. They were scared they were getting evaluated by the district. When I come to my friend's neighborhood, people would draw their blinds, close their doors. They thought I was coming to tell them about the glory of God and hand them a watchtower. But the fun thing about that is, thanks to Shaq and the general, I had a great interest rate. I get a great insurance rate, so I didn't worry about anything. So I maneuvered on as a fat person, and I went furniture shopping one day. Now I got my own apartment, I went furniture shopping, right? I said, man, I'm gonna get me some nice furniture. But when you're big, you gotta worry about things. I didn't want to get let's say I get a sofa. I go home, flop down on the sofa. I don't want it to fold up like a beach chair, so I had to go try that on too. And then think about this, the main thing is the bed. I'm now a single gentleman, so the bed, that's the most important thing. Now, who want to go home, hop in the bed, and then fold up? The only time I wanted to break down is if at least I'm getting some activity in there, so I don't want that. So I fast forward, and think about this as a child, my parents did all they could to kind of help me out with my weight. They put me in Little League Baseball, right around here in the great city of Florence, right? Now, I was a slugger. I could hit the ball. I wasn't running for nothing. You couldn't fool me to run. Cardio wasn't in my bloodline. So, first year I did good because I was hitting the ball out. I was a big kid hitting the ball out. Cool. So they moved me up. This coach wanted us to do cardio. Oh Lord, he wanted us to run around the track. First practice, out. He said, Mr. Baker, you got to run like the rest of the kids. No offense, but I had a white coach. So I just sat there and, he just sat there. He's like, okay, I ain't going to bother a little black kid. Next practice, they called my dad. My dad came up. My dad is a southern gentleman. Used to wear suits and ties and stuff like that. He came to my practice in some dress pants, some Stacey Adams, and a golf shirt, what y'all call a wife beater. I said, okay, maybe I'll get up and run this time. He said, get up and run. So I got up, I went slowly, right? I started walking around the field. I said, Lord have mercy, I don't feel like doing this. But I started walking, and white people, I understand what you mean when you say when black people pop up behind you, you get scared. My dad popped up behind me with a belt, and Lord have mercy. He started hitting me, and I ran as fast as I could that day. I'm just happy this didn't happen in February during Black History Month. So, fast forward to that, these days, I still got health problems. I'm working on my health. My job gave free health screening, right? So I said, I'm gonna participate. This year, I'm gonna be healthy. So I did the fasting. That was the hardest thing to do, not to get up in the middle of the night and have an Uncrustable and a Diet Dr. Pepper. So I made it through that. I got up the next month and said, I'm going to get the screening test, right? And the closer I got to campus, I was like, nah. What I realized is, I wrote a love letter to my health a long time ago. I said, if you love me, check yes or no. My health check, hell no. They told me to go on about my business. I think my health wrote a Dear John letter to me and had my doctor sign it. Told me we was breaking up. So I got these, what happened is now I got these bad knees I'm working with. And I figured out my bad knees has to do with sort of like my church situation. I got kicked out of my church. I ain't did not real bad, but I grew up in the 80s and 90s. Well, communion had wine. And boy, when communion had wine, it felt like the Lord was washing away my sins with a commercial power pressure washer. Now you go to the altar, now they give you juicy juice. It feels like he just brushing the sins off my shoulder but not getting them quite off. That's how I think I hurt my knee. One time I went down to the altar, kneeled at the altar, and they gave me some juicy juice, and the sins I had to bear were so heavy, when I got up, my knee gave out. So I still trying to make it. I found a new church that gave wine, but that's the church I got kicked out of. Because one week I had a hard week and I pulled up to the church and was like, oh, Pastor, it's time for communion. I took the same stool and went and sat at the altar. He gave me the little flask, the little drink of wine. And I said, okay. I said, Pastor, this ain't gonna do this week. Give me the bottle. He refused to give me the bottle. I sat there. Eventually the ushers came and removed me from the church. I didn't cause a fuss. I just left. They wrote me a letter, told me never to come back again. I said, okay. Well, one of the main things, the issue was, y'all know the pandemic hit, right? And we all made it through the pandemic. What happened during the pandemic for me was, I made it through, but unfortunately my marriage did. My wife chose to social distance from me permanently. She just followed the CDC, the guidelines. And I didn't really realize how serious it was to, you look on Facebook, she put on the Facebook for 2021, last year, by her side was going to be her mother. So that's what happened. Her and her mom were off into the sunset. But I'm still making it, doing good. How everybody feel about the gas prices?
Terrible.
Everybody feeling bad about the gas prices, right? I got a buddy. I went and looked at horses the other day. The horse looked at me and said, hell no, you ain't getting on me. So I couldn't get a horse. But I called my buddy Budweiser. I'm trying to get a Clydesdale right now out of the back of Budweiser. I think that horse can carry me well, but I gotta go. And then I heard the DoorDash people complaining now because gas so how they can't make any money. So now DoorDash people going over to OnlyFans and you place your order on DoorDash and you subscribe to them on OnlyFans and you can get a picture of your food. I don't know if that's gonna fill you up or not. I just want to thank y'all for coming out and thank you for the opportunity. Y'all have a good night. And I want to say this is the cleanest show I ever did, and I want to thank y'all. I thank you for challenging me to do a 17-year-old show, because the other night I did a show and they were like, oh, you said a couple of words too much. Thank y'all.